Ready? All right. Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 23rd meeting of the City of Davenport Zoning Board of Adjustment. The Zoning Board of Adjustment holds public hearings to consider the strict application of zoning ordinances for hardship variances, special uses, and appeals. I'm Dan Darlin, Chairman of the Davenport Zoning Board of Adjustment. Members present today are from your left to right, Mike Galliart, myself, and Jeff Blumker. Staff present today are Laura Berkeley, Scott Copes, and Attorney Mallory Bagby. If you have mobile devices, please turn them off as it may interfere with the room's electronics. As we conduct our business, we expect that everyone here will conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous, and civil manner and will speak only after being recognized by the chair. The only exception to this standard is that the staff is expected to interject when necessary to ensure we are properly conducting our business. If anyone wishes to speak on a particular agenda item, you will be provided an opportunity to do so. When recognized by me, please step to the podium, introduce yourself, and provide your input. By practice, each person is only permitted one opportunity to speak. Exceptions to that practice is at my discretion. Of course, if a board member asks a question of anyone, they'll be permitted to speak to answer that question, but I ask that you keep your response limited to the specific question. All right, do you have any corrections to the minutes from last meeting?
A couple of minor edits, Mr. Chairman. Under section 1, under my name, remote, should be probably stricken. And then I saw just maybe a fat finger error on section 4 under the motion. It just states Bodie Carlton. Probably should be Boyd Carlson. So a couple of fat finger errors, I think.
All right.
That's all that I noticed.
Then may I have a motion to approve with those edits?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Okay, so we have two items, and before we get to each one of them, I need to go over kind of a special case since there's only 3 board members present. So there are only 3 members present of the 5-member board. Approval of any motion requires the unanimous vote of all 3 members present. Our bylaws grant the chair the discretion to allow you to request a tabling of this hearing until a later date. Once the board hears your item, this opportunity to table will have passed. So when it comes to each of your cases, you'll have the opportunity to ask to table or not. So we can go into the first item. And the first item is request HV 23-06 of Thomas Jacobson, 6436 Woodland Court for hardship variance to encroach into the front yard of a through lot, double frontage lot, with a 26-foot by 36 detached garage located near the northwest corner of the dwelling, section 17.09.030.k and 8.5 prohibit accessory structures in the front yard, section 17.02.040.7.p requires through lots must meet both front yard and setbacks. Is the applicant here? All right, thank you. May I have the staff report, please? Oh, wait, first, got to ask if you'd like this tabled or not. So, no to the tabling. Report, please.
Staff just wants to make sure you understand, once we hear it, we have to go forward on it. Okay. Scott Copes, DNS. So this request is here basically because they want a garage in what's called a through lot, secondary front yard. So the second slide or third slide shows the yards, and there's also a diagram. So the diagram of the lot, there's one of those lots there, it's called a through lot, and I put a star on it there. That has a frontage on both of those parallel non-intersecting streets, and that's the situation we have here. Jersey Ridge is parallel to the Woodland Court, and so you have the through lot, and they're requesting the garage, which would be normally in a rear yard, but it's in what we call a secondary front yard, or just a second front yard. The lot is an acre lot. It has a lot of, it's a fairly wooded lot, and it has a mixture of evergreens and deciduous trees. I forgot my little clicker. The next slide here shows you the dwelling from the Woodland Court side. And below it is the view from, I think it's 65th Street. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, 65th Street. So if you're on 65th Street, you're looking south, you can see what's kind of like a side driveway. It's a narrow driveway that leads to the house. From this video, or this photo, you can't see the house, but it's there. And so here's the subject property from the west, looking east at the house. Again, you can't see the house due to the vegetation. So here's the submitted application. It shows the proposed garage to the rear of the house. It's detached, but it's almost close enough to be attached. It won't be visible from Woodland Court. And given those other views that we just saw during 3 of the 4 months, it won't be visible from either Jersey Ridge or 65th Street. We did our standard notices. We have not had any comments in. And this sketch here just kind of shows what the garage is going to look like. It is 26 by 36. It meets our size requirements. This is a rather large house, so it doesn't even come close to being a problem size-wise. This next diagram here shows kind of the distances for nearby streets and or houses. So Jersey Ridge Road is 120 feet from the proposed garage, and 65th Street is about 100 feet from the proposed garage. And to the south, the nearest dwelling is approximately 150 feet. It's doubtful whether the people to the south would be able to see this, given the layout of the property. Staff reviewed the request for all 4 approval criteria. Arguably, the ordinance has created a limited hardship for item number 1. For item number 2, physical and topographical conditions of the site do impact development. Item number 3, unique circumstance has been established. And item number 4, protection of essential character has been established. In looking at these, you know, the proposed structure is not visible in many cases from the street. Additionally, the size of the garage is compatible with the size of the lot. These through lots are almost a unique situation, and it may be better in the future to address these with special uses, but we would have to draft some code language to do so. So at the moment, the only way to go forward would be a hardship variance, which is what has been requested. Staff recommends approval as proposed.
All right, board members, are there any questions of staff?
I have none at this time.
All right. Can I have the applicant please step up to the podium? And you can go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you're looking for.
Okay. My name's Tom Jacobson, and I'm the applicant, live at 6436 Woodland Court. We've been there for probably 22 years now, something like that. It's about an acre lot, so as Scott pointed out, the trees there are fairly mature now. Most of them I planted, and they're fairly mature trees at this particular point. The proposed 26 by 36 garage is pretty much dead center of the property, so it's kind of in the center and fairly well screened on all sides from the trees and what's gone around there. And of course, we have plenty of setback on all four sides, or setback, the closest house to the south at 150 feet. In fact, he was gonna come down today if he had a family commitment, but they're fine with that. And most of them can't really see it anyway. In addition, the proposed structure, we would have the siding and shingles match the existing structure, so that would blend in with the same siding and shingles as what's in there is ready. So really, the issue being that the lot being designated as a dual frontage lot is really what the issues become up here. So obviously, the Jersey Ridge side is curb and gutter, drainage ditch, berm and trees. So it's, it's not an access lot, but it's the definition of what the dual frontage lot is. So thank you for your consideration in this matter.
Right, any questions?
That one picture that I saw where you had where the garage was proposed, one picture showed that there were trees there, and then the other one looked like there were not any trees there. That one there shows no trees where the proposed garage is. Well,
There's two, where those two trees are is actually where would go, right
yeah.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
you'll
I
be
think-
taking those down?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it
Not
just
that it's
blurred out the
gonna-
picture when we took a picture of the
gotcha,
picture.
gotcha, okay.
Mr. Jacobs, how many vehicles will be stored in that?
In this one, two probably.
Will there be any extraordinary traffic or dust or noise that would emanate from that?
No, it's, I've got some older classic cars. There'll be storage for two of them. It won't be any mechanical work or anything done, just some storage place for them and a little extra area on the side. So no noise, no dust, no paint, no mechanical, nothing like that in there.
Chairman, I do have a question for staff.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Staff, what is the possibility or propensity for this lot to be split into two lots in the future?
There's probably enough land to do so, although it's doubtful whether the city would approve a curb cut off of Jersey Ridge Road for one. So I wouldn't say super likely, but I guess if we had another World War II again, when we had a real housing shortage and things drastically changed in the world, maybe at that point. But short of that, I don't see it ever splitting.
Thank you.
anything else? Good. Applicant, any final questions, comments?
Nope,
All right.
thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of the request? Anyone in the audience wish to speak opposed to the request? Board discussion?
I've got one more question, Mr. Chairman, for staff. Scott, did you say that there were no objections from the letter sent out?
Right,
Okay.
we had no phone calls, no letters,
Okay.
no correspondence whatsoever, that's correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I have none.
All right, if none, then I would entertain a motion to approve request HV 23-06 as requested.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve request HV 23-06 as proposed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Galliard,
Yes.
Blumker,
Yes.
and Darland.
Yes. So that's passed. Thank you. All right, our next piece of business is request HV 23-07 of Vera French Manor at 215 East 37th Street for hardship variance to reduce parking requirements by providing approximately 1.3 parking spaces per dwelling unit. Davenport Municipal Code Table 17.10-2 requires 1.5 parking spaces per residential dwelling unit, and this is in Ward 7. Is the applicant here?
Yes,
Do you wish to continue or table?
continue.
Okay. May I have the staff report, please?
Scott Copes, DNS. So this request, some of you will remember it was here, I think about a year and a half ago or so. or it was actually 2020, I think is what year it was here. So it's been more than that. At that time, they asked for a few more units. Now they're only proposing 6 units. The previous request was for a parking ratio of 1.1 parking spaces per unit. This new request is actually for 1.3 parking spaces per unit, so it's a slightly higher, more provision of parking. The previous request was approved. So now they're coming forward, after, if you don't move forward with it on a year, then you have to come back to the city to kind of re-up it, and their plans also slightly changed too. So some of these photos here just kind of show the area. Big Lots is over here to the east and other commercial development. There's large lot houses to the west. And there's an empty commercial lot that probably will never get developed. It's not visible from Brady Street. That's to the south where this is going. If you can see the little red square, that is where the 6 units are proposed. Again, this is just an overhead view, and they're going in right there. This is from the west. There are some trees in that neighborhood that shield the existing units fairly decently. So this chart is the same one that appeared in the staff report. Presently, there are 45 spaces. They're proposing to do 54 spaces, which would be an increase of 9 spaces. And again, the parking ratio, 1.5 is what's required. Right now, they're slightly over 1.5. They have 1.6, and they're proposing 1.3. They did a survey of their residents previously. Of those 30 units, there were only 6 persons that used or owned a car. And so if they keep that same ratio or percentage, that would only require 8 total spaces with the 6 new ones provided. And also additionally in your staff report, there were images of the parking lot, which showed a few cars, but by no means was it full. The ordinance has established a hardship for this situation. Number 2, physical and topographical conditions of the site. They do limit the site usage. There is no other location in which to put parking, but given this unique use, it does not appear that there's any need to have any additional parking. Unique circumstance has been established. Number 4, protection of essential character has been established, and staff recommends approval of the request.
Okay, so the previous request a few years ago that was approved was never executed?
Correct, yes.
And so now they're adding units and not adding parking spaces, so it's just essentially diluting the parking
No,
space.
they're adding 9 spaces, I believe, is what they're adding.
I didn't think we were.
Or no, wait, I'm sorry. Did you already add from last time?
No, we're
Okay.
not requesting to add new.
Okay. My mistake.
So the required spaces would go up, but their number of spaces are staying the same, which then dilutes the ratio. Okay. Board members, any questions of staff?
No, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
No, sir.
Okay. Applicant, can you please come to the podium?
Thank you. I'm Stacy Kaiser-Willie, Executive Director for Vera French Housing.
And my name is Rich Whitaker. I'm the CEO of Vera French Community Mental Health Center.
So our request today, we had made application in 2020 to the Iowa Finance Authority for a tax credit project. And so the existing building, Vera French Manor, is 10 units. At that application time, for that application, we were proposing to build 13 units, add 13 units onto the building. With the tax credit request, we did not win that award. So now we're revamping it, scaling back the units, and making another request. So the application is due to the Iowa Finance Authority April 19th. And so we knew we needed to request this hardship variance to comply with the application, to comply with city code. So we're scaling back that request. The initial request for the 16 units added, or I'm sorry, 13 units added to the end was approved, and now we're scaling it back to 6. So it'll be 16 total. With that parking, there's an overabundance of parking in that area. Of the 30 units that are there right now, it would increase to 36. That's what we're hoping for with the additional 6 units. There are only 6 people that own cars there. So we don't anticipate, you know, those 6 new units. I mean, even if everyone there had a car, we'd still have plenty of parking.
So this is, this has to all be approved to be compliant with code in order to make the application.
Right. Yep.
And if you aren't successful in receiving the award, will the project still go on or not?
No, it
Okay.
will not.
So
So that's what happened
that
last
happened
time.
last time. Okay,
Yeah.
understood. All right. Any other comments? Okay. Board members, questions of the applicant?
Ms. Willie, do you anticipate conducting any special events of extraordinary size or number at that site?
No, so we have 30 units there currently. Like I said, hopefully we will get the tax credit award. It'll be 36. The most that we do there, we have a little cookout. You know, we might have board meetings. It's a very small, under 20 people. So there's never a lot of traffic. You know, not many people own cars, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience that wish to speak in favor of the request? Anyone in the audience wish to speak opposed to the request? Board discussion?
No questions at this time, Mr. Chairman?
All right, then I will entertain a motion to approve request HV 23-07.
I'll make that motion to approve request HV 23-07 of Vera French Manor as proposed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Loveker,
Yes.
Galliard,
Yes.
and Darlin.
Yes. Sure pass, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
All right, on to other business. Very exciting. We usually don't have other business. Consideration of bylaws for review, comment, and approval. So any questions from the board?
I don't necessarily have any questions, Mr. Chairman, but I do like the fact how we mentioned last time about referencing certain code rather than putting it in specifically. I think that was an excellent idea. If those, you know, codes change or anything, it can be referenced specifically, so. Reading through this, I really have no questions, I guess. Seems pretty straightforward.
One thing to keep in mind, if something did arise throughout the year or at any time, and the board, should they deem it necessary to review these again, that can happen at any time.
Would that be part of the protocol if a reference code changed, could bring that to our attention?
Right, so that's something that we could fix that way. And then also, if there's some sort of issue that legal advises us on that might be best served by modified bylaws, then maybe we would bring that forward.
Sure.
Or even if there was a significant change in a code that we reference, we would alert you to that as well. Even if we didn't have to change our bylaws, we'd let you know.
Very good.
The references to the code sections are broad enough also that if something does change, it'd be a major overhaul that we would have to change here. Probably looking at bigger changes within our city code than just our bylaws also. We didn't refer to any specific sections, we referred to chapters in general. Those tend to stay in the same title, it's the same
Okay.
intent.
Sure,
Makes it a nice living document that way.
yeah.
Just roll with the changes.
Let's roll with it.
Is there anything else of particular note or anything else extraordinary in what you're trying to accomplish with this that we need to know about?
Everything in here is the same protocol we have been already utilizing. It just puts it into writing.
Some of the most substantive changes were just clarification of what we've been doing. So hasn't been any changes to how we've been doing policy.
Great. Any other discussion? Yeah, like I think it's a good document. Good. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the new bylaws adopted, well, this says March 9th, 2023.
So moved.
What's that?
Let's change the date on there.
Yeah, probably need to change the date.
Yeah.
So,
What is the date?
Today's date?
March 23rd.
time marches on. So a motion to approve the new bylaws dated March 23rd, 2023.
Second.
I was asking for a motion.
I'll make that motion
There we go.
to approve the bylaws of today's date.
I'll second that motion.
Do you want roll call or voice?
And we'll do roll call.
Roll call, please.
Gallier,
Yes.
Blumker,
Yes.
and Darlin.
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second? Aye. Bueno.
Thank you.